How's it going, everybody? This is RBT coming at you with my picks for Week 15 of the NFL season. Sorry that this did come out a little bit late. I usually upload these around Tuesday in the morning, and it totally slipped my mind. And I had to go this morning for a final. I mean, I've been kind of scatterbrained this week because I've had finals and everything, so been pretty busy. But I still want to get this video out. I have one final tomorrow, then I'm done for a month, and I can't wait. One last final. But let's get into this, and I need to go study. So I need to try to make this as quick as possible. So the Thursday night game, we have San Diego going into Denver to take on the Broncos. I think Phillip Rivers and the Chargers can score some points. My Titans scored some points in the Broncos last week, so if the Titans can, anybody can. But the Chargers have been playing pretty well this season at points. At other points they haven't. But I mean they've been kind of inconsistent. But one thing that's always been consistent is the passing game. Phillip Rivers has been having a kind of a revamped year, revamped season, kind of rejuvenated his career, and he's playing really good. Yeah, on the other side, though, the defense is playing horribly. The bad thing is they're like one of the worst in the NFL defending the pass, and got Peyton Manning to deal with this week. So I expect the Chargers to score some points, but the Broncos should end up getting a pretty solid victory at the end. So I'll go Broncos 42, Chargers 28. Alright, next we have Washington going to Atlanta to play the Atlanta Falcons. This is the Sunday games. And I don't know what to do with this pick because it's kind of in the air if RG3 is going to play, because Mike Shanahan said that he is thinking about just sitting RG3 for the rest of the season, let him go ahead and take a step forward into his recovery process so he can get completely healed up and ready for next season. And just hopefully nothing will he doesn't want anything like set him back or whatever. So I'm not real sure. But regardless, with how bad the Falcons have been playing, I think even if Kirk Cousins plays, I think the Redskins can win this game. The Falcons, man, this is just not a good season for them. They can run the football. They can't run the football. They can't defend other teams for running the football. Their defense is bad. Matt Ryan's still having a decent season. But the thing about RG3 leaving is the fact they still have Alfred Morris and a solid quarterback in Kirk Cousins. So with the run game, and Alfred Morris should have a big game going the Redskins by about I'll go a touchdown. I'll go 28-21 Redskins over the Falcons. Okay, next we have the Chicago Bears going into Cleveland to take on the Cleveland Browns. And the Bears came out last night, Monday Night Football, and laid a pretty big put up a bunch of points, to say the least, against the Cowboys last night. Scored 45 points and made the Dallas Cowboy defense look pretty silly. So I expect the same thing to happen this week. All I want to say is Josh Gordon has turned into an absolute beast for the Browns, and this is crazy. It's only his second year. He was, if I'm not mistaken, he was undrafted, and the guy's turned into an absolute beast. I mean, they almost beat the Patriots last week, so I mean, they've been competitive this season. We all know how they started the season out. They started out the season just ridiculous. Everybody caught by surprise because Brian Hoyer came in and played really well. Then he was injured, and they fell off completely after that. And then Jason Campbell came in last week, and Jason Campbell's been playing pretty well, which is I've never understood why they never played Jason Campbell in the first place. But regardless, Chicago's been playing very good. The defense is solid. The offense is solid. They should get an easy win over the Cleveland Browns. I'll go Chicago 35, Browns 20. Next, we have Houston going into Indianapolis to take on the Indianapolis Colts. And Houston, they're fighting for the first draft pick right now. I mean, they lost to the Jaguars. It's pretty evident they're going to get the first pick. The only question is, what's going to happen with that first pick? Gary Kubiak's fired. It hurts my heart to say that one of their 2 wins this season is against the Titans. That's just sad, but no problem for the Colts. The Colts should win this one easy. Andrew Luck should play well, and it'll just be a blowout. This Houston's just completely fell off the map this season, and Case Keenum is gonna get the chance to start because their owner, once they fired Gary Kubiak, said that they wanted to start Case Keenum and see if he could be the quarterback of the future for him, and see if he's actually an actual NFL ready quarterback. If anything, let him play, and if he plays well, you can use him as trade bait for a high draft picks. But regardless, I think Colts are going to win this game pretty big. I'll go Colts 35, Texans 17. All right, next we have the New England Patriots going into Miami to take on the Miami Dolphins. AFC East matchup. And like I said, the Patriots came out last week and almost got beat by the Browns. I heard something about a bad call late in the Patriots game, which helped them get the win. But regardless, they got the win. That's all that matters. But these teams have already played. They're divisional rivals. The Patriots won before. I expect the same to happen. They are playing in Miami, which could be a difference. I mean, it could be different playing in Miami. But this is a Patriots team that doesn't know how to lose. They win games. They win games close. They come back, do whatever they have to do, but they win games, and that's all that matters. They almost lose to the Browns one week, almost loses to the Texans the other. The week before that, they beat the Denver Broncos, the mighty Denver Broncos, who some consider to be the best team in the NFL. So the Miami Dolphins have been kind of streaky this season. They've been good at times and bad at times. So Miami tends to play the Patriots tough. So I expect this to be a close game, especially with how the Patriots have played the last couple of weeks. But I still expect the Patriots to come out with a win. So I'll go Patriots 27, Dolphins 24. All right, next we have the Philadelphia Eagles, the red-hot Philadelphia Eagles, versus the Minnesota Vikings, who have had one of the worst seasons in the NFL this year. And Philadelphia, man, they've been on a roll. How many games? They've won 5 in a row. That included last week in that crazy Snow Bowl game. Nick Foles threw his first pick, which I wish wouldn't count because he was going for a flawless season. But it's you can't expect anybody to go into that type of environment and not have a bad throw. That was ridiculous. But man, that'd have been so fun to play in. If you're an NFL player and that happens, it might be freezing, but that would be so fun to play in. But anyways, I think the Eagles continue to be red hot. No match. The Vikings are no match for the Eagles. They've been playing. Nick Foles has been playing lights out. LaShawn McCoy had a great week last week. They had to come back and win, but they did over the Lions. So I'll go Eagles again over the Vikings. Pretty big, I would expect. I'll say something like, I'll go 34 to 20. Eagles over the Vikings. All right, next we have Seattle going into New York to take on the New York Giants. The Giants were plummeted last week by the Chargers, and I didn't expect that. I expected the Giants to stay on a roll and win, but they didn't. So they're pretty much out of the playoffs now. So it's time to start looking at the offseason for Giants fans. But Seattle, it's really a toss-up right now between Seattle and Denver for being the best team in the NFL. I think by far they are the best team in the NFC. Yes, they were beat last week Sunday by the 49ers, but it's a close game. I still think they're the best team in the NFC. So I'm gonna go Seattle. They should get a easy win over the Giants. I think they should run the football, and their front seven, their defense will keep them the Giants on lockdown and get pressure on Eli, which has been a problem for the Giants this season. So I'll go Seattle by 17. I'll go Seattle 34, Giants 17. All right, next we have San Francisco going into Tampa Bay to take on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, led by Mike Glennon. I think the 49ers will win. They have the momentum right now. They finally beat their division rival. Well, Pete Carroll doesn't want to call them rival, but their division rival, the Seattle Seahawks, last week, which, I mean, it's a great win. Tampa Bay's been playing pretty well. Seriously, they've won 4 of the last 5 games against some pretty solid teams. I think Buffalo's pretty solid. I think Detroit's pretty solid. The Falcons, the Miami, I think, is pretty solid. So there's been some pretty good teams they've beat. So will they play the 49ers tough? I would expect it. Mike Glennon hasn't been the best, but at least he's leading his team to wins, and that's all that matters. So I don't think Tampa Bay will lay down. I think they'll play well, but San Francisco is just too much. They'll run the football on them. Colin Kaepernick, I expect to have another big game. Their defense should shut down their rookie, Mike Glennon. So I'll go San Francisco by 10 points. I'll go 24-14, San Francisco over Tampa Bay. All right, next we have Buffalo going into Jacksonville to take on the Jacksonville Jaguars. And what do you know? The Jacksonville Jaguars have the longest current winning streak in the AFC right now. They've won 3 in a row. Actually 4 out of the last 5. So no number 1 pick for them this season, which I think kind of sucks. I think if they get Teddy Bridgewater, their franchise could turn around. But you got to win, and as long as you win, you're going to gain confidence. So I expect them to win a 4th straight. Buffalo's been up and down this season. They kind of disappointed me last week. I thought they were going to play tough, but they got beat really, really bad by the Bucs. So I expect this kind of the same to happen. This is probably the first time in my life I've picked the Jacksonville Jaguars to win. But I think they do it at home playing. I think they get a pretty solid win over the Buffalo Bills. Their second straight win. They might finish over higher than the Titans this season in the AFC. They very well may finish second in the AFC South, which I would hope grant for an immediate firing of Mike Munchak. Gosh, my hatred for that guy grows more and more every day. But Buffalo, I just don't think I can beat them. Jacksonville's fourth straight win. I'll go Jacksonville by 2 touchdowns, 28-14 over the Bills. All right, we have Kansas City going to Oakland to take on the Oakland Raiders. And a Kansas City team, which we all know has been the surprise of the season. What are they, 10-2 now? 10-3. And they came out last week and absolutely demolished the Redskins. I never would expect that in a snowy environment, crazy like that. They beat them 45-10. That was ridiculous. And that was a big win for them though, because they'd lost 3 prior to that. So it was a big win. They're gonna get right back on track, and I think they beat Oakland pretty handily. They beat them pretty bad earlier on in the season, so I expect them to win again. I'll go Kansas City Chiefs. They'll play tough defense. They'll beat Oakland. I would say about. I'll give Oakland the benefit of the doubt, but I'll go by 10. I'll go Kansas City. Kansas City 27, Oakland 17. We have the New York Jets going into Carolina to take on the Carolina Panthers. And I think a lot of people were disappointed last week. Everybody thought the Carolina Panthers were on a roll. They're going to beat the Saints, and they got beat down pretty bad by the Saints. And me included, I thought that the Panthers were going to win that game because they were on an 8-7 game winning streak, 8 or 7 prior to that game, and they got demolished. So will they be kind of down? Maybe, but the Jets have just completely fallen off the map. I remember they had the first team, I believe, in NFL history to start 5-5, but for those first 10 games went win-loss, 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 win-loss. So that was pretty interesting. They even beat the Saints, the Jets did, so that was a shocker. But they've kind of fallen off the map since then. Carolina's going to be they want to bounce back after a loss. They don't want people doubting them right away after they lose one game. So I expect them to win. I wouldn't be surprised if they didn't score many points, because the Jets do at points have a solid defense, inconsistent for the most part. It's a pretty solid defense. So I expect the Panthers to win, maybe a little bit closer than some people think. I'll go Panthers 21, Jets 14. The Jets' offense is horrible, absolutely horrible. We all know the Carolina Panthers have had one of the best defenses in the NFL this season, surprisingly. So I go 21-14 Panthers over the Jets. Next, we have Green Bay going into Dallas to take on the Dallas Cowboys, and this will be a pretty tough game. Dallas, we all know, for the most part, has a good offense led by Tony Romo, some pretty good receivers in Dallas, and one of the worst defenses in the NFL. Matt Flynn finally led the Packers to victory last week. Aaron Rodgers could be back. I'm not honestly real sure. If you guys don't mind, can I check real quick? I've heard that Aaron Rodgers may be back. He might be out for the season. So it's all Aaron Rodgers' injury. Is he out for the season? He will work out Tuesday, Wednesday, yet to be medically cleared. So as of right now, I'll say he's not going to play. So with that said, I think the Dallas Cowboys will win. If Aaron Rodgers plays, different story. Packers, I believe, will win easily because of the bad Dallas Cowboys defense. But Green Bay, even with Matt Flynn, they've kind of struggled. Yes, he's getting a little bit better for him because he's only been in Green Bay for just a couple weeks, maybe at tops a month by now. So he gets used to things week in and week out. So if they played good offense, I wouldn't be surprised. But I just expect Dallas to outscore them. Dallas, it's a known fact they have a pretty solid offense. But high scoring game, I do think. But I think Dallas finds a way to win and finds a way to stay in the playoff hunt in the NFC East. So I'll go Dallas by a field goal. Let's go 31-28. Dallas over the Green Bay Packers in a close one. All right, next we have the Arizona Cardinals taking on my Tennessee Titans. Man, I haven't made a Titans preview in forever or recap because they keep losing, and I don't feel the need to keep coming on here with recaps after they lose, and I haven't really had time either. Who to pick? Oh, the Cardinals, no doubt. it don't make any sense because early on in the season, the defense was so impressive. The defense looked like one of the best underrated defenses in the NFL. It was shocking how great our defense played. Then, all of a sudden our offense sputtered, and that's why we lost a couple games. We started the season 2-0, or 3-0, or 3-1, something like that. And we had played pretty well early in the season. And we were pretty consistent on both sides of the football. I think our defense was playing better than our offense was. And then once our defense starts really gelling together, our offense starts playing horrible. Absolutely horrible. Then Jake Locker gets hurt. We all know what happened there. And then once the offense starts getting better, our defense has just absolutely went to crap. Our defense is like one of the last couple weeks has been one of the worst defenses in the NFL. It's been horrible. Absolutely horrible. Maybe the last month. So I expect Larry Fitzgerald to have it way with our secondary. I expect Carson Palmer to have a big game. I think that should blow us out. Plain and simple, we've just been playing really bad football, and as long as we lose, there's nothing really to play for now. We were in a playoff spot a couple weeks ago, but that's out of the water. I mean, with 2 weeks left, we might be eliminated by now. So the more we lose, the better chance there is for Mike Munchak to get fired. And this franchise will not get turned around until we completely clean house, because Mike Munchak is not a high quality NFL caliber coach. He's just not. Shows no emotion. He's absolutely horrible. I'll stop there. That rants for another video. I just caught myself there. But the Cardinals, I think, should win this game really easy. I'll give us the benefit of the doubt, but I'll give the Cardinals still a 2-touchdown victory. I'll go 31-17 Cardinals over the Titans. It did kind of surprise me that the Titans came out to an early lead last week against the Denver Broncos, but then they ended up scoring 50-something points. Ridiculous. Was it 52 points? They ended up scoring 28 points in the second half. The Broncos did. That was ridiculous. So, what I say? Cardinals 31, Tennessee 17. Our next, the New Orleans Saints going into St. Louis, take on the St. Louis Rams, and it's a tricky Rams team. 1 week they'll come out and look fabulous. Next week they'll look like one of the worst teams in the NFL. I mean, you got Kellen Clemens at quarterback. It kind of sucks for them that Sam Bradford got hurt because they were having a pretty decent season. The defense has been playing really well. But regardless, the Saints have been playing well themselves. They beat one of the best teams in the NFL yesterday or Sunday in the Carolina Panthers. We all know the biggest reason for their success this year is their defense. The defense has been playing really well, specifically the secondary. The run defense has been pretty solid as well. And we all know they have Drew Brees. As long as they have Drew Brees, Marquise Colston, Jimmy Graham, and that offense, they're still going to be a solid offense no matter what. So I expect them to get a pretty big win over the Rams this week. I'll go Saints by a lot. I'll go Saints 34, Rams 17. All right, next we have Cincinnati going into Pittsburgh to take on the Pittsburgh Steelers and Big Benjamin. The Steelers are on a 2-game losing streak to the Dolphins and the Ravens. We all know what Mike Tomlin's going through after trying to trip Jacoby Jones. But I still think I picked Seattle over Pittsburgh early on in the season. I'll do the same again. I just think Cincinnati is one of the best youngest teams in the NFL, if that makes sense. They're always, the last couple of seasons they've been solid. Even Andy Dalton's rookie year, they've been solid. I think continuously they'll get better and better. Sitting at 9-4 this year, they beat a pretty good Colts team last week by a lot on a 3-game winning streak, and they very easily could be 10-2, but not be 10-2. They could very easily be 11-2 right now because 2 of their losses came back-to-back overtime field goal losses. One was actually a field goal safety, I believe. Field goal safety, what the heck, a game-winning safety or something like that happened. But they've been playing solid football, have a solid team, a really good defense, a solid offense, a couple of decent running backs in Jarvis Green-Ellis and Giovanni Bernard. We all know Andy Dalton's solid, and he has some solid receivers, and A.J. Green and Marvin Jones. So I expect the Bengals to win this game. And we all know that Pittsburgh plays pretty good defense as always, a tough, gritty defense. But I still expect them to win. I'll go Cincinnati by 10 points. I'll go 30-20 Cincinnati over Pittsburgh. Next we have Baltimore going into Detroit to take on the Detroit Lions. I'll go Baltimore in this one. Baltimore's been finding ways to win the last couple of weeks, and I don't expect it to change. I guess Detroit's kind of not necessarily falling off the map. They've lost a couple close games and a couple games that they really, well, I didn't expect them to lose. So, like I said, the Baltimore Ravens have been finding ways to win. Detroit's been finding ways to lose. They've lost 3 of the last 4, and it's kind of the lead of the AFC North just dwindled away. So I expect the same to happen this week. Something happens, and Baltimore finds a way to win, then very, very close by a field goal. I'll go Baltimore 24, Detroit 21. And if I'm not mistaken, that was the last game. Yes, that was the last game. So, hope you guys enjoyed. Please leave a like if you did. As always, leave your predictions in the comment section below. If you disagree with anything, let me know. And I always enjoy listening to feedback. So, yeah, so subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Leave a like if you haven't already. Once again, I apologize for uploading this a little late in the day, but it completely slipped my mind. But please follow me on Twitter if you haven't already. Twitter.com/S3RTR. So that's it. I'll catch you guys next week. And as always, roll Tide, go Sox, and go Titans to you. Be awesome. Peace.